3 reasons why people fail to stay in shape and stay healthy long term. Or even if you're someone who wants to get to the next level of leanness and you really want that next level physique and you want to optimize your body, this is going to apply to you. So, number one is one word, it's identity. So, let's take nutrition, for example, right? Most people struggle to stay consistent with their diet. If you're listening to this and you've listened this far, you probably want to get to that next level. And what's stopping you is you haven't become the person who eats healthy. Let me give you an example, right? My girlfriend, last time we went to Brazil a couple of years ago, they baked a cake and she was just going to go and eat some. What her cousin said to her niece, right? She said, look, Janine doesn't want it. She said, Janini doesn't eat cake, is what she said. And then as she was going to eat it, Janine was like, actually, that's right. I don't eat cake. She's already become that person. She's identified, even if it's subconsciously, with someone who doesn't eat cake. That doesn't mean she doesn't eat cake all the time. Obviously, she was going to on that occasion, but she got reminded that actually that's not who I am anymore. And people, when it comes to emotional eating, a lot of people will identify because they failed so many times. You may relate to this. You've tried to get to that next level, or you've tried to lose weight and you've gained it back. Well, that's over 90% of people. You might identify as an emotional eater or even someone who drinks alcohol. Let's take the emotional eating example. I'm an emotional eater, right? I fall off on the weekends. You've told yourself this, and your subconscious mind takes your word for it. Remember that. Whatever you say, your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference. It takes your word for it, which means then subconsciously you're identifying every day as an emotional eater versus someone like myself who, again, I don't do this on a conscious level, but I'm a healthy eater. That's just what I do, right? I'm a healthy eater. That's who I've become. I've become that person. Going to the gym, for example, gym goer. That's just me, right? I lift weights. I've done this for 20 years now. I'm a gym goer. I wouldn't really say that out loud, right? I'm a weightlifter. Whatever you want to say, right? These things, now, look, you can get a bit woo-woo. You can't just look in the mirror and say I'm a healthy person and then go and eat a cake and go and bloody drink all weekend, right? No, all that stuff is BS. You have to do the work. But that self-belief, what you're doing there is you're making your subconscious mind believe. And that is the key to anything in life, right? So this is why people fall off. Let's look at short-term results, for example, right? 8 to 12 weeks or 6 weeks even, right? Now, for example, my program is 90 days. But I'm fully saying to people that this is just the foundation, that first 3 months. Let's be realistic, right? You can change a lot in 90 days. You're not going to stick to it long-term, though. Most people are not. And that's why, obviously, most people stay with me for 10 to 12 months is because they know that they can make some changes. You can be a different person within 90 days, for example, within 12 weeks, eat better habits with protein, for example, eating better quality foods, maybe sleeping better, drinking more water, going to the gym more consistently. Great. But then after that, what will happen is you're likely to revert back to old behaviors because if the habits that you've implemented don't complement your lifestyle, they don't fit into your lifestyle after that, then what will happen is life will get in the way. A stressful event will happen like it always does. Work will get busy. Some sort of excuse will pop up and then you'll revert straight back to those old behaviors and go back to square one. Over 90% of people do that. And this goes back to my first reason. They haven't made it their identity. They are not the person. They haven't become the person who's healthy. Let's look at environment as well. This is really important. People who identify as healthy people, right? They essentially get around people who are healthy, right? And it's easier to stay in shape then, right? And it's much easier then because they haven't got as much temptation. If you're around people who are overweight, then you're going to become one of those people, right? If you're around too many of those people. And you're going to get encouragement off the right people, which goes a long way. And then you start identifying as the people around you, subconscious mind. Maybe you'll get some inspiration or you'll just become those people because that's what we do. Humans, we're very tribal, right? So that's what you got to stop and think and ask yourself, right? Is what would a healthy person do, right? What would they do? For example, my client the other day, right? He dropped me a message. He said, look, man, normally I'd finish work. The kids are away. The kids are whatever, they were out, wife's away. Normally what I would do on my own now is I would just reach straight for the wine, right? He's got a wine cabinet. And just as he was about to reach for a wine, he was like, WWMD, he called it. What would Martin do? And he's like, he'd probably just go for a tea. He wouldn't be having a wine. So he dropped me a message, mate, I just went for a ginger tea instead, man. Thanks. It's inspiring, right? Now, obviously, he's almost 3 months into his program, getting great results. But he's slowly becoming that person now. So over time now, obviously with good coaching, he's going to start identifying as that person. And it's those small decisions that what would a healthy person do? Or what would Martin do? It's just the split second decisions, right? For the most part, and by the way, healthy people are not perfect. For the most part, they're going to choose the tea over the wine. They're going to go to sleep when you're watching Netflix, right? If you're not a healthy person, you're not where you want to be. You're making those split second decisions too often. They're going to go to sleep. I'm going to go to sleep whilst you're watching Netflix. They are going to do weights instead of cardio, right? Because they're smart and they want to get results. And they're a weightlifter. They're a gym goer. They do it the right way. They're going to be okay with making progress over perfection. They know perfectionism doesn't exist. Life's going to get in the way, but I'm just going to keep going anyway, right? Because of the process. I'm going to keep making progress as opposed to getting attached to perfectionism, which does not exist, right? They're going to take the stairs instead of the lifts at work. We could keep going down the list, right? You get where I'm going. You have to do what a healthy person would do. You have to become that person. And until you do that and you do it for long enough, look, this just comes down to the long game, right? It's not rocket science. People who've got to this level, the level I'm at, a lot of my clients are at, they've done it for longer until it's become automatic. And this is what habit change is. It's getting a behavior that is, first of all, is hard. You're conscious about it. You have to remember to drink your water, for example. You have to, you have to get your clothes ready the night before to do the early morning gym session because you know you'll be more consistent if you go in the morning. So you're planning the night before. You're not watching Netflix. You go into bed, gym kit's ready. You get up and you go because that's what a healthy person would do, right? And then what happens then when you start identifying as that person, you start becoming a healthy person who lives a healthy lifestyle, then the self-discipline doesn't feel as hard anymore because again, short term, 8 to 12 week, results are flawed because after that, it's something they have to do, right? These habits, these behaviors is something you feel like you have to do. It's not who you are, right? This is the most important thing. You have to upgrade your identity, essentially, right? Look, I have got an awesome new metabolic quiz now, right? Now, look, the last one I had, it was a form. It was quite clunky, if I'm honest. Now I've got a scorecard. I'm so excited for you to try this. You're going to be the first people to try this. The link's in the show notes. It takes you 3 minutes. And now, rather than me, because it was getting overwhelming as well, the amount of people filling them out, I was doing it manually and giving them the score. Now, I put together a system where it's automatic. You're going to get a score out of 100, and it's going to tell you exactly what you need to do next, right? For you to get rapid results, whether your goal is fat loss, build a muscle, or both. It's a metabolic assessment score, right? It's such a great thing. I've just created it, finished it before this call, and it's just so valuable. If you're looking to get improve your metabolic health and get into insane shape, click the link below. You'll get that for free. It literally takes around about 3 minutes to fill out. And I'm excited for you. Stop this and go and do it now, right? And I'm excited to see what you're going to get out of that. All right. The second point, again, it can sound a bit woo-woo, but it's your why, right? All the people I've coached over the years, hundreds of men and women, right? The people who get the best results and long-term success, I'm talking about here. I'm not talking about short-term. They're the people who have a real reason to change because when life gets in the way, when life gets stressful, you have personal stuff happen, you have more work stress, you're traveling around with work, whatever it is, again, whatever those excuses that pop up for people who they haven't become a healthy person, they don't adapt and just do what needs to be done because they haven't become that person. If you haven't got a strong why in those situations, it's easy to just give up. And it gets too difficult to really put the work in when things get tough. And when you have a strong why, a reason to change, you become a healthy person actually much quicker. Now, unfortunately, when it comes to the reason to change, a lot of people leave it till it's too late, until they're forced into a position of poor health, like diabetes, chronic illness, and autoimmune disease, before they go, oh man, I've got to make some changes here on my metabolic health. And even then, some people won't do it. And when they do it, yeah, certain illnesses you can turn around, but it's just way, way harder. And you're on the back foot then. And then you've got age against you as well. Because a lot of people wait till they're older, which, by the way, you can make changes at any point. But what I'm saying is, if you're older, don't wait for health ramifications, not when you're older, because then it's even harder to pull it back. So this all goes into the reason to change. So look, ask yourself these questions, right? If you continue like you are, you could be someone who's completely out of shape, overweight, and miserable, or you could be someone who just wants to get to the next level. You're like, man, I got this stubborn fat. I've got these habits which are not serving me. I'm all or nothing on weekends or whatever that is. It's the same kind of questions. Who else is going to be impacted if you just continue like you are? How's that going to impact the quality of time you spend with your family? For example, I hear a lot, look, my energy levels are so low. I'm with my kids in the evening or whatever. And by the time I'm trying to play around with them, man, I'm just lying on the floor naked and I haven't got the energy for them. And it's impacting the quality of time. I'm not enjoying that time. I'm not as present because I'm so tired, right? I haven't got the energy. That's a big one. So how's it impacting your kids? How's it impacting your partner? Let's be honest, right? When you're not in the shape you want to be and you're not as healthy as you are, more importantly, when you're not making decisions that you know you should be making, because that's when your confidence drops and your self-belief drops. When you are not doing what you said you would do. People overlook these mini commitments that they make to themselves. I'm going to get up and go to the gym tomorrow. Oh, I just hit my alarm today. It doesn't matter. Oh, actually, it does matter because what you're doing is you're becoming a person who hits the alarm and they don't go to the gym and you don't realize you're doing it as well. And if you're not where you want to be, it's all of these mini commitments that you made to yourself that you're not following through with, which is knocking your confidence. It's building self-doubt. And then when we look at body confidence, that's impacted by your decisions. When you're sloppy with your habits, you're not consistent. What's the ripple effect of your lack of body confidence, for example? Having sex with the lights off is one, we can laugh about this. These are real problems that people have, of all the people I've had calls with, right? When we get deep into it, it's like, look, if I'm honest with you, Matt, like it's impacted my sex life. You know what I mean? Like I have to turn the lights off to have sex, or I'm just not doing it because I don't want to. I feel too stressed in the evenings and I don't feel confident. So I'm just putting it to the side. And then what's the ripple effect of you not having intimate time with your partner, for example? And if you're single, what's that doing to you, right? Not having the confidence. Are you missing out on opportunities with other potential mates because you don't feel like yourself? Work clothes, how is it impacting your professional life? Let's just be honest about these things, because you can just say, no, none of these things are impacting me and lie to yourself. But deep down, even if you had 10 to 20% more confident, that those work clothes that you can't fit into or you don't feel confident wearing is impacting you. You're covering yourself up. Internally you're not showing up at your best. And don't make excuses for that, right? This is going to be maybe a little bit harsh to some of you. Feel free to tune out if you want to, but you need to hear this, right? Even if you just want to get to the next level, right? Whether you're someone who's really overweight, it doesn't matter. It applies to all of you. Don't make excuses for the things that are negatively impacting how you show up. Don't say I was too busy. Stop doing that. Stop doing it. You're lying to yourself. You are not making time for the things you know you should be doing. And you say, oh, look, work's so busy right now. I've got so much stuff on with the kids right now. Look, I get it. Life gets busier at times, but life's always busy and life's always stressful. So I'll just call it out. It's just bullshit. You might be saying, oh, I'm a perfectionism. So my thing is, I struggle with perfection. So when I don't, be spot on with my food on the weekends, I just hit the off button. Or someone said to me, oh, I don't get up at 6:30 to train. If I get up at 7, then I just don't bother doing it because I haven't got it. No, that's bullshit. Like if you were trying to perfect things and you were trying to be good at things and show up better, you would look, feel and perform better, and you're not. You're subpar. Like if you're listening to this and it's resonating with you, this is you. And all that to say, these things impact you, right? So the reason to change, all of this is just covering the topic of knowing your real reason to change. These kind of questions of who else will be impacted, how's it impacting your professional life? Could you make more money? Like, would people take you more seriously? Look, this is what happens, like it or not. Take it from me, and I'm not being big-headed. People treat me with a lot of respect. They take me very seriously when I have conversations with people, whether it's on Zoom or even more so in person, because they can see. Even if it's subconscious, we make split-second decisions. We judge. Like we can all say, don't judge a book by its cover, but humans do that, whether you like it or not. And you will get more opportunities when you look like you take care of yourself. It doesn't mean walking, like I know I'm shredded or whatever, right? It's not walking around shredded. It's not about that. Does this person look healthy? Are they carrying a lot of body fat? more importantly, we can pick up, forget about body fat, right? We can pick up just by how you look in your eyes, your energy levels, your skin, all these things, even if we're not consciously aware we're picking up on these things, but humans are attracted to health, like it or not. Simple as that. So yeah, all that to say, if you don't know your why, you're just going to stay in your comfort zone. You're going to make excuses. You're going to tell yourself these stories like, oh, I haven't got time, or I don't really know what to do. Most of you know what to do. Stop that. Stop it with the, nutrition. Oh, do I do this? No, what you need to do is stop eating processed foods and eat real foods. Just stop doing that, right? Because you pretty much know what to do, but you're not doing it, right? It's as simple as that. And then another deeper way to do this as well with the why is just ask yourself 5 whys. Look, I want to lose 20 pounds. Cool. If that's the only goal you have, good luck. You're not going to get long-term success. It's highly unlikely. If you want to lose 20 pounds, okay, why do you want to lose 20 pounds? Oh, because I want to feel better about myself. Cool. Why do you want to feel better about yourself? Because I want to show up better for my family and I want to feel more proud of my body when I look in the mirror. Because at the moment, I don't like the way my body looks. Cool. Why is that important to you? Look, going forward, I want to be at the best for my family. I want to show up better and, in every aspect of my life. I want to show up better in work, business. I want people to take me more seriously. I want to fit into my favorite. You could keep going down the list, right? It looks different for everyone, but it's got to be a real reason to change, right? And if you're not, another question to ask yourself, right? It's a crazy question, but 10 years from now, right? If you keep doing what you're doing now, exactly the same thing, realistically, 10 years from now, where would you be? To pause, feel free to pause this, write it down or say into your voice memo, talk into it, right? So you've got a voice recording of it. 10 years from now, where will you be with your health, confidence, energy, habits with food, stress level? Where will you be specifically? Some people, when I fast forward that much, they say, do you know what? Someone actually said to me before, I think I'll be dead. I've had a few people say that, well, I'll be dead. Right? And that was obviously powerful. That's an extreme example. Some people say, but I keep going like I go now. I don't know. My bloods are not looking good in the doctors. I'm going to be diabetic the way it's going. People don't think about those things. Yeah. It's like Dr. Peter Attia says, right? He's got a great book. It's called, Outlive. I love his book because he's always talking about, like I'm always doing with clients, is like, look ahead. Like if you keep living like you are now, you got to look at 10, 15 years ahead. And that's why forget about wait until things go wrong. That's why you want to optimize now. You want to get as strong as you possibly can, build as much as you can. Because as you get older, everything's working against us. So look, knowing your why is really important. Last but not least is environment, right? This is the most important thing out of everything when it comes to people getting in shape, being healthy, living their best life. It's social influence. You need to be around people who inspire you to level up your personal standards. Now, I'd like to think the way I live, especially when it comes to health, fitness, lifestyle. Well, I've had the feedback from clients, right? I like to think I inspire them, and they've told me that, right? And it sounds a bit big-headed when I'm saying it myself. I'm just telling you, though, right? And this is just in the arena of health and fitness mainly, right? It's inspiring, right? And I've had to be around people who inspire me to get to where I'm at in life, business, financially, even obviously everything I've learned here, this has been from other people. I'm on the shoulders of giants, right? We all learn from other people who inspire us. So that forces you, when you're around those people, to level up your personal standards. As the saying goes, right? Show me your friends, I'll show you your future. If you're surrounded if the 5 people you spend the most time with are overweight, you'll be the 6th. Look forward to being the 6th person who's overweight and unhealthy. It's just as simple as that. If you're around people who take their health seriously, going back to the identity thing, you're around healthy people who are gym goers, who are healthy eaters, and they're lean, you're going to be a healthy eater, a gym goer. You're going to be the 6th one, right? You're going to be the 6th healthy eater, gym goer, lean, healthy person. It's as simple as that. You've got to get around the right people, and you've got to really reevaluate the people you're around. That's why, obviously, our community at Optimize Your Body, it really massively contributes to people's results long term. Like I said earlier, short term, you can get results. But when it comes to long term, you have to have the right people around you to help those habits stick. You got to have the right sparring partner, right? It's like a boxer. He has to have a sparring partner who's going to push him to bring the best out of him. It's the same as you, right? To keep those personal standards high, you have to have inspiration. You have to be around people who visually you're observing the way they live, the way they show up. That is going to rub off on you and have the biggest influence on you, right? So, and that's why, for example, encouragement, right? Research shows that you need to be, like, for example, research shows these things when it comes to long-term success. People who get encouragement from people, they get way better long-term. If we just talk about weight loss and fat loss, long-term success when they get encouragement and they have the right people around them supporting their goals is through the roof higher. Whereas when it comes to gaining all the weight back they lost, if they get criticism or they get people around them who creating friction, who are, eating crap food all the time, their rate goes like down, right down into the sewer. Basically, it's almost it's close to impossible, right? It's not, I wouldn't say impossible, but it's like it's so unlikely you're going to achieve that long term, and that the relationships that you've got around you are actually going to last if you want long term to be healthy and in shape, right? And the same thing goes for, like, going back to the identity point, right? People who gain all the weight back, they don't plan ahead. Like a healthy person who is in your environment, in your circle, like the people in our community and myself, they plan ahead. Like my clients, one of the biggest things I say is, right, we need to plan ahead, right? For example, meals prep, or get a meal company to help it with you, or bare minimum, like a lot of my clients and myself, just have meat available to eat, for example, like lean protein sources available to eat in the fridge. So when you get hungry, you've got protein there, which is going to blunt your appetite, right? And give you fuel that you need, and energy, and nutrients as well. Look at the menu in advance. Again, that's what a healthy person does. Like for me, let's say, well, I mean, I'm a rare example, but my clients, right? Because I mean, I only eat at one place, right? Pretty much. I'm going to go for a nice meal at the end of the month, but that's going to be steak, of course. But my clients, I say, right, if you go on somewhere for a work event, business, or a family event, have a look at the menu in advance so you can plan ahead, right? So let's say you've got healthy options on the menu. Great. If you haven't, or even if you want to go and have a pizza, right? Fine. But just plan ahead of that, right? If you're going to have the pizza, know in advance. And then that day leading up to it, right, I'm going to have protein. I'm going to eat whole foods. I'm probably going to cut back a bit on calories, maybe do more steps. Plan ahead of those things. Because someone who's unhealthy and overweight, what they do, they just turn up, no planning, eat what they want. Great. Like, I'm not looking down on anyone, but that is the thought pattern, and the lack of planning is what an unhealthy person does and how they live, right? And then the same goes for weighing yourself, right? What does a healthy person do who's built the resilience over the years from being consistent for a long period of time? When they weigh themselves on the scales, they don't let it derail them. They don't like hit the off button and sabotage with food, for example, which is, research shows this, by the way. When people jump on the scales, weight doesn't go down for a week or two, or God forbid it goes up by a pound or two, they give up. Weight loss is never linear anyway. Fat loss is never linear. The weight fluctuates. You got to look at over the space of a month, really, and then 3 months. What's the average weight loss? And they give up, right? And that's another reason why people gain all the weight back, right? They get derailed by that number on the scales, but you've got to keep going, right? It's just like resilience at that point. So yeah, environment, it's everything. Social influence. Look, one more time, I want to say, ladies and gents, metabolic assessment form, click the link in the show notes. It's a new quiz. It gives you an automatic, literally chart, percentage of a score out of 100, and it tells you, give you a plan on exactly what to do next for your body type and the results that you want, whether that be building muscle, fat loss, or both. And also, I know a lot of you have been sitting on the fence and you want to work with me, but you've just been too scared to reach out. There's an opportunity right now. The one-to-one form is in the show notes, and fill that out. We'll have a chat. If I can help you, fantastic. But either way, I'm happy to help. And by the way, you do get a free call anyway, a free consultation. So either way, I'm happy to help if I can. If we're not a good fit working together, I'm happy to help either way, point you in the right direction, give you resources or whatever. So click that. That's also in the show notes with the metabolic form. All right. Also, check out this next video here, which I haven't planned in advance on YouTube, but I'll put that here in the corner for you to click on watch next. It's related to this topic and you'll get a ton of value from it. So definitely click the video below this video, the video there in the corner right on YouTube, and watch this next video. All right, over and out.